In today's video, I'm putting Kinny's dream team up against Bordeaux's dream team, and they will compete in a collection of challenges in minigames, practice mode, a special ultimate team challenge, franchise mode, and a Super Bowl matchup to decide the winner. As some of you know, Kinny is a big Chicago Bears fan, and his dream team will consist of his favorite current and former NFL players.
Adam, it's time to build you my dream team. I'm a Bears homer. I get flack for it on every single video, so expect a lot of Bears in this, so I can pass that flack off to you. With our first position at a halfback, we're going with Walter Payton's sweetness. There was just no one in the NFL that's ever ran quite like he did. Quarterback is actually a surprising one. I love the sheriff. Peyton Manning was my favorite quarterback ever. He just owned every aspect of the field that he played on. Wide receivers, we got the GOAT Jerry Rice, the speed demon Randy Moss, and what I think is the most valuable player in the NFL today, Tyreek Hill. At tight end, I gotta go with Taylor Swift's boyfriend. I mean, she put him on the... No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually going with George Kittle. I respect a tight end that can do both receiving and blocking, and I don't think there's anyone better at both than George Kittle. Left tackle, we're going Trent Williams. At right tackle, we're going Joe Thomas. And then on the inside, we got Quentin Nelson at left guard, Zach Martin at right guard. And at center, we're going with Olin Kreutz, the last serviceable center the Bears have ever had. So we'll take him. On the defense, we're going to have some fun because for our first edge rusher, we're going with Jared Allen, the mullet man himself, who chased Dan Orlovsky outside of his own end zone, causing a safety without ever even laying a hand on him. I mean, that's just invoking fear in your opponent. And then on the other side, speaking of fear, we'll go with Lawrence Taylor, probably the greatest edge rusher of all time. Defensive tackle, I'm liking Warren Sapp. He's just a big body, and he's terrifying up the middle. And next to him, we're going to have William the Refrigerator Perry. And if you want, you can throw him at fullback too. Let's just have some fun with it. Inside linebacker, again, my Bears homerism is coming out again because we're going to go with Brian Urlacher, one of my favorite players to watch growing up. And next to him, the late, great Dick Butkus. Outside linebackers, I'm kind of indifferent. We could have gone with Lance Briggs, but instead I'm actually going to go with Ted Hendricks because he's freakishly tall, and Derek Brooks because why not on that one? Cornerback, if you have a verb named after you, like a peanut punch, you have to go with Peanut Tillman. I also love Revis Island. And for our third cornerback, I want to take some fresh meat. Someone that's young, still playing in the NFL, and has a bright future ahead of him. We're going to take Sauce Gardner. Also, you got to love that chain. I mean, you just respect the chain game. And lastly, at safety, I'm going with Brian Dawkins, and I'm going with Sean Taylor. But most importantly, just anyone but Eddie Jackson. I watch him every Sunday, and I cannot stand seeing him play for the Bears. Lastly, I don't know how I could almost forget. I want Pat McAfee at punter, and make sure you give him 99 hit power so that he can lay the boom on these kickoff returns. And at kicker, the man who won Tom Brady all of his Super Bowls. Just kidding. I love Tom Brady. But let's go with Adam Vinatieri. Whoever I'm taking on in this competition, whoever I'm matched up against, just know that my Bears homerism is what's going to lead me to victory. I have the utmost confidence.
And next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts, who are Bordeaux's favorite team, and they will consist of his favorite current and former NFL players.
I've been given the task of building my dream team, and we'll start with my wide receivers, where I got to go with Marvin Harrison, Calvin Johnson, and Antonio Brown. I don't think that group of guys is getting stopped, especially with Johnny Manziel slinging the rock to them. At halfback, the Colts already have the future GOAT Jonathan Taylor, so we don't need another, but I might as well take Marshawn Lynch to back him up. And for tight end, I grinded as a kid for mobile master Rob Gronkowski on Madden Mobile, so give me him. Our offensive tackles should probably be like Jonathan Ogden and Anthony Munoz, with Quentin Nelson, Jason Kelsey, and Marshall Yanda for the interior. Now to start off my defense, I have to go with two more Colts, which means our ends are going to be Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis, and I feel like Mean Joe Green and Aaron Donald would take this four-man front to the next level. Then at outside linebacker, we'll go with Lawrence Taylor and TJ Watt, with Ray Lewis and Luke Kuechly roaming over the center as our middle linebackers. And it gets better at cornerback because as a college creator, I have to go with Deion Sanders. And then for our other two, we might as well have Richard Sherman and Jalen Ramsey. At free safety, we'll throw in someone like Ronnie Lott, and then to finish off the defense at strong safety, Troy Polamalu, with obviously Adam Vinatieri at kicker, and then podcaster Pat McAfee as our punter. I feel like I put together a really good squad, but we'll see if it's able to take down Kinny's team.
And now we have to put them through the first challenge, the passing skeleton mini game. Starting with Kinny's dream team, Peyton Manning completed a short pass underneath to Tyreek Hill. He continued to work down the field with some really nice passes and followed up with a touchdown pass over the middle to Tyreek Hill, hitting the multiplier up to 5. Manning was slinging it, finding Jerry Rice on a drag route, and then Tyreek Hill over the middle, who gets body slammed into the end zone, getting the score up to 4,500 points. On the very next drive, he goes right back to Tyreek Hill, who uses his speed to get around a defender, and then throws a dangerous pass to Jerry Rice, who manages to hang on to it. With just 5 seconds left, Manning tries to throw a touchdown pass, but it gets knocked out by Jalen Ramsey, resetting the multiplier back to 1, and Kinny's dream team ends up finishing with 12,290 points. Johnny Manziel and the rest of Bordeaux's dream team are up next, and he starts it off with a pass to Marvin Harrison for a big game. Johnny Football makes it look easy, connecting with Calvin Johnson in the end zone for their first score. Manziel kept that momentum going with some really great passes to Marvin Harrison, and before you knew it, the multiplier was up to 6 with 38 seconds to go. He then finds Calvin Johnson once again for a big game before connecting with Megatron once again for another touchdown. Johnny Manziel was perfect, and with 15 seconds left, he hits Marvin Harrison underneath, who ends up juking out multiple defenders, and Manziel ends up sneaking one in to Antonio Brown to get the score up to 16,000. On the very next play, Manziel connects with Antonio Brown once again, and they end up finishing with 18,167 points, and Bordeaux's dream team wins the first challenge of this competition. Next up is a wide receiver and defensive back challenge where 3 receivers on both teams go one-on-one with the team's best corner. Johnny Manziel and Calvin Johnson are up first for Bordeaux's dream team, and he's able to fake out Darrell Revis and score his first touchdown. On attempt number 2, Johnny Manziel gets the ball to Megatron, but Revis was able to hit him and knock the ball out. Marvin Harrison is up next, and on his first attempt, he's able to make a leaping catch and fights his way into the end zone for their second touchdown. But unfortunately on his next attempt, he was stopped short of the end zone. Antonio Brown has 2 attempts, and on his first one, he avoids the press and catches it over Revis for a touchdown. On Bordeaux's dream team's last attempt, Brown was not able to hang on to the pass from Manziel, and they ended up finishing with 3 touchdowns on 6 attempts. Kinny's dream team is up next, and on their first attempt, Manny connects with Jerry Rice for their first touchdown. And on their second attempt, Rice was able to make a leaping catch and somehow sneaks into the end zone for his second touchdown. Randy Moss is next, and on his first attempt, Manning throws a perfect ball, and he is able to come down with it for their third touchdown. But unfortunately on their next attempt, Moss makes a one-handed catch, but Dion tackles him short of the end zone. Tyreek just needs 1 touchdown to help Kinny's team win, and on his first attempt, Peyton Manning sails it over his head. It all comes down to this last attempt, and Tyreek Hill is able to make the catch and get into the end zone before being tackled. Kinny's dream team ends up winning the wide receiver defensive back challenge, tying up this competition. As we move on to the next challenge, Kinny and Bordeaux have done plenty of team building videos on their channels, so I decided to use their dream teams and see which team would have a higher overall in Madden Ultimate Team. The rules are simple. Using the highest rated version of their players, the team with the highest overall will win this challenge. If a certain player does not have a card in MUT, they will be stuck using a 70 overall at that position. Oh, and there's a little twist to this. Some players have an out-of-position item, and they can be used on both offense and defense. Starting with Kinny's dream team, his offense looks really solid, having William Perry as his quarterback since Peyton Manning isn't an Ultimate Team this year. And the rest of his offense looks really good with plenty of high overalls, but unfortunately he's stuck with a 70 overall center and fullback since Allen Cruz doesn't have a MUT item. As for the defense, Kinny was lucky enough to be able to add this 94 overall Randy Moss cornerback item, but the rest of the team looks really solid as well, making some really great choices, but unfortunately Brian Urlacher and Dick Butkus don't have cards in Madden 24, so he was stuck with 2 70 overall golds at middle linebacker. He was able to build a team that was an 88.78 overall with an 89 offense and 88 defense. Let's see if Bordeaux's dream team can have a higher overall, and as for his offense, Johnny Manziel has this 93 overall Campus Hero item, which is quite solid for those who play MUT. The rest of the offense is solid with this 95 overall Calvin Johnson at wide receiver, but unfortunately he has 3 70 overalls on his offense since Marshall Yonda and Jonathan Ogden both don't have MUT items this year. Moving on to the defense, he pretty much has every position filled with solid overalls, but both Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis are currently not in Ultimate Team, so he's stuck with 2 70 overall ends. But will this be enough to beat Kinny's dream team? He was able to build a team that's 88.34 overall with an 88 offense and 89 defense, but unfortunately it was not enough to beat Kinny's 88.78 overall team. Kinny's dream team takes the Ultimate Team challenge, and now he has 2 challenge wins while Bordeaux has 1. Next up we have the franchise challenge. Whichever team makes it the furthest will win this challenge. And after simming the rest of the season, both Bordeaux and Kinny finished with a 17-0 record going undefeated, and they both have a first round bye heading into the playoffs. Simming right to the Super Bowl to see if either team are still in the hunt, and it looks like Kinny's dream team was knocked out by the Bucks in the divisional round. Bordeaux's dream team ends up winning the franchise challenge as they defeat the Cowboys in the Super Bowl by a score of 21-14. The competition is now all tied up at 2. The final challenge is a Super Bowl matchup where we have Peyton Manning leading Kinny's dream team going up against Johnny Manziel and the rest of Bordeaux's dream team. Johnny Manziel hands it off to Marshawn Lynch, who picks up a nice gain. Manziel follows that play up with a 26-yard pass to Gronk, and on 3rd and short, Johnny Football gets sacked by William the Fridge Perry, and they end up settling for an Adam Vinatieri field goal. Let's see what Peyton Manning can dial up for Kinny's dream team, and on 2nd and 8, he takes a huge sack. On 3rd and 23, Manning finds a streaking Randy Moss for a 35-yard reception. A few plays later, Manning connects with Randy Moss for the second time this drive, but he ends up taking back-to-back sacks, and Adam Vinatieri makes a long 54-yard field goal to tie it up. The second half started with a beautiful pass to Rob Gronkowski for their first touchdown of the game. Down 8 at the start of the second half, Peyton Manning was able to get his team down the field before Walter Payton punches in for 6. But on the 2-point conversion, Manning could not connect with his receiver, and they are now down 2. On the very next drive, Johnny Football throws a costly interception to Sauce Gardner, who reads it perfectly. Not a whole lot of time left, but Manning is able to connect with Randy Moss for a huge first down. And on 3rd and 11, Manning throws to the end zone, and Tyreek Hill makes the catch for the touchdown to take the lead. Bordeaux's dream team were forced to punt the ball on their next possession, but luckily his defense came up with a big stop, giving Johnny Manziel one last chance. And on 4th and 11, Johnny Manziel throws one up, but it gets intercepted by Revis Island. And Kinny's dream team ends up winning the Super Bowl challenge, and more importantly, his dream team wins the entire competition by a score of 3 challenge wins to Bordeaux's dream teams 2. A huge shout out to both Kinny and Bordeaux for helping me with this video, and if you enjoy something like this, I also had a video where MMG's dream team went up against RBT's dream team. Definitely go check that one out. It's right over here. Click on it.